Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're back with the Last Alliance, riding once again. It's weird to say last and again in the same sentence, but anyway, we're here with the humans under the Empire, with Karl Franz and the dwarfs, being led by Thorgrim Grudgebearer himself. Yes, indeed. Last alliance of men and dwarves facing off against a foul union of chaos and the Dark Elves. So let's go ahead and get the army compositions. Karl Franz in the woods here with his Royal Altdorf Griffite bodyguard, as you guys have seen many times before on my channel here. Tried and true. We're going to be augmenting them with the Reichland Runefang and Stand Your Ground to give them 26 melee attack, 27 melee defense, and a bonus total of 24 leadership. He's also got the Galmaraz to make himself quite a bit better. Front line is going to be some spearmen with shields. We've got a great sword in the center. These guys did get a bit cheaper in the last patch, a bit more cost effective. Got 2 units of swordsmen. One of them is the Sigmar Sons. Hammer of Witches in the center. Out on the left, some Reichsguard. And over here on the far side, more Reichsguard, the Zintler's Reichsguard, in fact. For the dwarves, Thorgrim Grudgebearer, going to be the leader, of course, once again. He's got some Quarrelers, those are actually Rangers behind him. 2 units of Slayers. We've got some Longbeards with great weapons, including the Grumbling Guard. Front line of Dwarf Warriors. We've got 2 Dwarf Cannons, a Master Engineer augmenting them. And that's it for our forces. If we go ahead and take a look at the Foul Union here, you can see it's a front line of Chosen with great weapons, a Crone Hellebron. We've got some Shades to back them up, Archaon, the Everchosen. We've got Witch Elves here. Backline of Blackguard of Nagarond, a Fire Sorceress for the Dark Elves. These Shades actually have great swords, actually. And yeah, a whole bunch of Chosen with great weapons with varying levels of chevrons. So, very small, elite evil army, and let's see how they're able to do. You can see right off the bat the cannon's going to be kicking off. I'm aiming at Archaon. Narrowly missing, but taking out some of the Dark Elves, which is totally fine with me. And by the way, the black and gold from the Hargoneth color scheme looks really nice on the Dark Elves as we watch them get shelled here. But yeah, the Hammer of Witches, of course, because it does magic damage, going to do very little to Crone Hellebron, particularly when she's up on her magic hoopty cart here. She has 47% magic resistance. So yeah, the Hammer of Witches, because it does magic damage, but that magic resistance and the missile resistance will both apply. So Black Iron's going to get his Dawi cannons focusing on Crone Hellebron, while I focus fire on Archaon. Currently not making the best contact, but looks like he's going to be calling up some foul magic. Some flaming bolts from the heavens going to be raining down on the Hammer Witches there. And yeah, this is actually a pretty solid play because it does a ton of damage to the crew and actually blows up one of the guns. So really nicely played by Archaon there, using that spell, and also going to unleash a fireball now. Probably blow up, yep, indeed blows up one of the guns. So the Hammer of Witches already down 2 guns just due to Archaon's magic there. That being said, the Dawi guns are over on this far side relatively secure because our opponents have brought a very small elite army. They really can't spread out and deal with everything at once, so these Dawi cannons are firing with impunity, and oh man, just clipped that Fire Sorceress. She is definitely not in a comfortable situation. But yeah, the state troops of the Empire pulling back ever so slightly since the guns are more or less offline. I don't really feel the need to over-invest at protecting them. You can see the Reichsguard over here going to be getting on Archaon in the forest, getting a nice little charge here. He'll definitely do some damage to them, but we're going to continue on the way here and try and get on these Chosen with great weapons here. Ooh, Fireball doing a little bit of friendly fire there, no pun intended, but the state troops are pulling back. Unfortunately, we have been engaged by the Crone Hellebron. You can see the Crone sword is popping off. It has been nerfed. You can see it'll pop, and now it has a cooldown time before it pops up again. It's not just instantly refreshing. I also think they nerfed the damage a little bit. I would have to go look at the patch notes specifically and see, but just kind of kiting back a little bit, allowing Black Iron to bring up on the flank here and seeing if we can get a full surround. I overcommitted on these Reichsguard a little bit. They got taken out by Chosen with great weapons. No big surprise there. Going to try and pull back those spearmen with shields, but at this point, I see Crone Hellebron's a little bit out of position, so we're going to go after her with Karl Franz. The state troops being sacrificed in the front line here for the Emperor. Definitely going to be beat down by those Chosen, but Franz and the Royal Altdorf Griffite's going to catch the Crone here a little bit. She does drop the red mist though, and these Witch Elves get in here, and I try and pull away, but just barely these Royal Altar of Griffites are going to get enraged to the last second there. Thankfully, they do have the juiced up stats, which just wore off actually, but yeah, now they're going to get dragged down by all these units just going into a frenzy, so not looking too great for the Empire so far, but thankfully the Dawi cannons, of course, still online, firing away. Great swords, fighting valiantly here in the center. They'll obviously lose hard to Chosen with great weapons, particularly if they get wrapped up and surrounded, but you know, they'll fight all right for a minute there. And in the meantime, I've managed to pull Karl Franz free, and I'm not sure where he went. Looks like he's over there. We're going to be linking up with that Jade Wizard there. The Witch Hunter still online as well, just firing away, popping off shots into the side of the Chosen there. And the Dawi force is going to be moving up to engage as well. You can see Thorgrim leading his throng through, the Dawi cannons firing in, and yeah, we're going to be dropping an Earthblood on these dwarfs in the front line to keep them nice and healthy. I want these Longbeards to continue fighting, continue grinding, and Crone Hellebron actually goes down there to the Slayers, and the Longbeards, who get a flaming skull as their reward there. But not going to do too much damage aside from the Slayers. Actually goes all the way through and clips those Spearmen with shields. Probably going to make them rout. But we did manage to get the Zittless Reichsguard over here. Royal Altar Griffites came back from rout, and we popped a regrowth on them, giving them a good amount of healing here, and we'll be also coming back to rear charge these Chosen with Grey Weapons. Karl Franz is in a duel with Archaon the Everchosen here, so a very cool thematic battle. Royal Altar Griffite's going to rush to the Emperor's aid here and try and deal with Archaon. At this point, there's the Chosen with Grey Weapons also in this pocket, so it's definitely not a given win for Karl Franz here, and it's going to be a bit of a desperate fight. You can see the Spearmen with shields also rallying back to the Emperor. That being said, the balance of power overall is starting to tip in our favor, as these Reichsguard did get into the back line and are just ping-ponging between these Shades. Despite the fact that the Shades have great swords and do a decent amount of armor-piercing damage, if we stay on the move with these Reichsguard and just ping-pong between these two units, it's going to be pretty hard to respond, and we've been able to tie them down long enough that these Dwarf Warriors have gotten the back line here, and they'll be able to get in here and do some damage as well. Because the Shades are very tattered, they don't have too many unit models left. Dwarf Warriors will be able to get in there and clean them up. And yeah, at this point, looking pretty good. The swarm from the forces of order here is very real. You can see Thorgrim fighting in this pocket, probably taking a lot of damage. Yeah, he's actually about to go down here from that Chosen with Grey Weapons. The Black Guard, of course. Thorgrim does count as a large entity, so they'll be getting the bonus versus large there. That being said, we've been able to clean up Archaon. Actually think he might have just gone down to Franz. Nope, he's still there, and gonna get gunned down probably by the Dawi cannons here potentially, but maybe, oh, goes down to the Master Engineer, in fact. Quite a skilled shot there. But yeah, Witch Hunter continuing to pop off shots with Archaon going down. The leadership's going to get very shaky for the Dark Alliance here. You can see these infantry just about dealt with Thorgrim. However, they're surrounded by dwarves. They're getting shot. They're just very uncomfortable. They've lost their leadership. Crone Hellebron's down. Archaon's down. The end times have been completely canceled. You know, everyone go home. Go back to the Chaos Wastes. Go back to Nagrand. The end times are officially canceled. So very well played to our opponents. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that battle. Very fun thematic battle. Our opponents, you know, their army composition very small and elite, which definitely led to some problems. If they had even a bit more like mobility and some ability to kind of harass the backline, it would have at least kept the dwarfs honest. They wouldn't have been able to just leave their cannons and march their whole army over. But because our opponents didn't have much in the way of mobility and were just very small armies overall, we were able to kind of surround there. The state troops in the front line definitely got just crapped on all over the place. You can see none of them really paid out. Just got dumpstered by elite infantry. The great swords were the only ones getting above 30 kills even, which is pretty rough. Royal Altar of Griffites, though, did some good damage initially to Crone Hellebron, also helped come back in the late game there and deal with Archaon. Franz himself helping in that regard. The Reichsguard also did some decent work, even though they kind of got dragged down a little bit. Again, the kill totals aren't very high because our opponents just brought a pretty small army overall. But if we look at Black Iron's dwarfs here, the cannons I just mentioned how small their armies were, and look at the kill totals on these cannons. 83 and 97 kills. They were just online, on station the whole time, firing away and bringing blessed gunpowder upon them. I guess not really blessed from Sigmar per se, but blessed by Valea, or whatever dwarf deity you prefer. Anyway, very fun stuff. Thorgrim, he definitely took some damage there, but actually I do think survived at the end. Very fun stuff in terms of the Chosen. They definitely mopped up the state troops, no problem, but just kind of, again, got surrounded and shot up, which is a pretty rough situation. It's actually the same guy I played in another recent 2v2 that you guys may have seen. Brought pretty much the same army, but yeah, for our opponents, just that small elite army really ended up being a liability. They got some good work done, but in the end, just the Dawi cannons definitely carrying the day there. So very well played to Black Iron. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and our opponents, of course. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.